Huawei is challenging Nvidia with a new chip for artificial intelligence, according to the Wall Street Journal. Huawei has reportedly told potential clients that the chip is comparable to Nvidia's H100.
Huawei just shocked the world by revealing a brand new AI chip that competes directly with Nvidia's top tech. With this new chip, China is now catching up to the US faster than expected in the race for AI leadership. Their semiconductor production alone has jumped by 30%, which has pushed them closer to dominating this industry. So how is the US responding to this sudden challenge, and how will this affect the global market? Let's find out. The Invention. Huawei's new invention is a high-performance AI chip called the Ascend 910C, and it is a big deal because it directly competes with Nvidia's top-tier chip, the H100. And just to give you some context, Nvidia's H100 has been the gold standard when it comes to AI chips. It is the chip that powers some of the world's most advanced AI models, making it a favorite in industries ranging from tech to military defense. But now, Huawei has outdone Nvidia with the Ascend 910C, and they are claiming that this chip can do everything the H100 does, and maybe even better. The Ascend 910C is built to handle some of the most demanding AI tasks out there, like training machine learning models and processing massive amounts of data. In fact, companies like ByteDance and China Mobile have already tested it, and the results are impressive. Now the thing is, AI chips are the brains behind the smart tech we use every day. Whether it is facial recognition on your phone, self-driving cars, or even medical devices, these chips are doing all the work. The more powerful the chip, the more advanced these technologies can become. And that's why Huawei's new chip is such a big deal, because it gives China a real shot at leading the world in AI technology. But it is not just the performance of the chip that has got people excited about it. People are excited because of what this new invention represents. You see, for years, the US has imposed sanctions on Huawei, blocking them from accessing American-made chips and other critical technology. These sanctions were meant to slow down China's progress in AI and semiconductors. But instead of being held back, Huawei pushed forward, developing its own cutting-edge tech, and now they are ready to compete. So what does this all mean? Well, if Huawei's claims hold up, this could shift the balance of power in the tech world. China is no longer playing second fiddle. They are stepping into the spotlight and showing they can innovate on the same level as the US. And the fact that they did this under heavy sanctions makes this achievement even more impressive. So how did they make this chip better than the rest? The science behind the innovation. The Ascend 910C is built using a 7-nanometer process, which is basically a fancy way of saying the chip is more advanced and efficient than older ones. Chips are made up of billions of tiny switches called transistors that control the flow of electricity. The smaller the transistors, the more you can fit on a chip, and the more powerful the chip becomes. So when we say 7 nanometer, we are talking about the size of these transistors, really small. Now, here is why that matters. By using this process, Huawei can pack more transistors into the Ascend 910C, making it faster and more efficient than other chips. This means it can handle complex tasks like AI model training and data processing at lightning speed, the kind of speed that's necessary for things like autonomous driving or facial recognition systems. But it is not just the hardware that Huawei has improved. Huawei also developed its own AI software framework called MindSpore. This software works hand in hand with the Ascend 910C to optimize performance. Think of it like the operating system for your phone or computer, but designed specifically to make the most out of this AI chip. This gives Huawei an edge over competitors because they control both the hardware and software, making their system more integrated and efficient. Now, the best part of this invention is that Huawei did all of this despite being under heavy sanctions from the US. The US has been trying to block China from accessing key technologies, particularly in areas like AI and semiconductors. But instead of slowing down, Huawei invested heavily in research and development. Now, with the Ascend 910C, they have shown that they can innovate and compete at the highest level, even without access to American tech. This is what makes the Ascend 910C such a great invention. A geopolitical perspective. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How did this move from Huawei catch the US off guard? To put it simply, the US was not expecting China to come out swinging with something like the Ascend 910C so soon. For years, the US has been keeping a close eye on China's tech ambitions, especially in AI and semiconductors. But this was a shocker. The US has been playing hardball with China, especially when it comes to technology. Back in 2019, they slapped Huawei with heavy sanctions, essentially cutting them off from crucial American-made chips and other tech tools. The goal was to slow down China's progress in AI and keep them from competing with the US, and honestly, for a while it looked like it might work. Huawei's smartphone business took a hit, and there were some big challenges in its supply chain. But instead of throwing in the towel, Huawei did the exact opposite. They invested billions in research and development and built their own tech from the ground up. Now, with the Ascend 910C, they have sent a clear message that China is not backing down. So how is the US reacting to this sudden leap from China? Well, let's just say it is not going unnoticed. There has been a lot of talk about tightening sanctions even further, and the US government is already discussing ways to boost its own tech sector to stay ahead in the AI race. But the thing is, the US is not just worried about losing market share. They are concerned about what this means for national security. They want to protect their military capabilities, cybersecurity, and even intelligence. The more advanced a country's AI tech is, the more powerful it becomes on the global stage. So, yeah, this race is not just concerned about who sells the most chips. The race changes global power dynamics. This is why many countries have been fighting this race for years, the race to technological supremacy. Let's take a step back and see how we even got to this point. The tech rivalry between the US and China didn't happen overnight. It has been years in the making, and the battle for technological supremacy has been heating up for quite some time. But to understand why this new AI chip from Huawei is such a big deal, we need to look at the bigger picture. One key factor is the massive government investment. In 2015, China launched its Made in China 2025 inches initiative, committing to spend $1.4 trillion over the next decade on emerging technologies including AI and semiconductors. This aggressive approach was a message from China that it was not content with being a follower, it wanted to be a leader. By contrast, the US government's tech funding has largely come through private ventures, with some support from agencies like DARPA and the NSF, but nowhere near the centralized push seen in China. Between 2018 and 2022, China saw a 50% increase in AI research investment, significantly outpacing the US, which saw more moderate growth. According to a report by the Brookings Institution, China now publishes more AI research papers annually than any other country. This further solidifies its ambitions. But here is where things really get interesting. In 2020, China's semiconductor industry grew by 30%, making it one of the fastest-growing tech sectors in the world. This growth was fueled by massive state-backed investments in companies like Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, which is the largest chip maker in China. SMIC plays a huge role in reducing China's reliance on foreign chip technology, especially after the US imposed strict sanctions on Huawei in 2019. On the US side, the country has historically dominated the semiconductor space, with companies like Intel, Nvidia, and Qualcomm leading the charge. However, in the last decade, Much of the actual chip manufacturing was outsourced to countries like Taiwan via TSMC and South Korea via Samsung. This outsourcing strategy helped U.S. companies lower production costs, but it left the U.S. vulnerable as most of the world's semiconductors are now produced in Asia. In response to China's growing tech prowess, the U.S. introduced the CHIPS Act in 2022, committing $52 billion to boost domestic semiconductor production and research. But even with this initiative, the U.S. is playing catch-up to China's breakneck pace. China's rise in AI and chip technology was not a fluke. It was a calculated effort backed by massive investments and a clear national strategy. Now, with every new breakthrough, they are edging closer to challenging the U.S.'s long-standing tech dominance. In fact, they are having a global impact. Dramatic impact on global markets. The semiconductor industry, which was worth an estimated $553 billion in 2021, is seeing a seismic shift as China's push for tech independence starts to take shape. Let's look at the numbers. After Huawei unveiled the Ascend 910C, the company saw a 16% increase in stock prices, while its suppliers in China, like SMIC and Tsinghua Uni Group, also experienced significant growth. On the other hand, U.S. semiconductor giants like Nvidia and Intel saw their stocks dip as investors started to worry about China's rising competition. Nvidia's share of China's AI chip market, which was around 90% in 2020, has been gradually slipping, partly due to Huawei's advancements and the U.S. export controls. But this is not just about stock prices. The global semiconductor supply chain is incredibly interconnected, and Huawei's entry into the high-performance AI chip market could have major implications for chip production around the world. China already controls a significant portion of the world's rare earth metals, which are crucial for chip production. With Huawei's Ascend 910C entering the market, China could start leveraging its control over these materials to further its advantage in the semiconductor industry. And let's not forget about supply chain disruptions. We have all seen how the 2021 chip shortage affected everything from car manufacturing to consumer electronics. If China, now with advanced chips like the Ascend 910C, begins to dominate the semiconductor market, it could lead to even more disruptions and potentially give China the upper hand in controlling the global supply of these critical components. Now, what's the best thing about this new invention? About this invention, you see, the Ascend 910C is specifically designed to handle the most complex and resource-intensive artificial intelligence tasks. AI chips like this are the backbone of machine learning, natural language processing, image recognition, and other high-level AI applications. With this chip, Huawei aims to set a new benchmark in AI processing capabilities, and they have done this by focusing on both power and efficiency. One of the most impressive features of the Ascend 910C is its training capacity for AI models. In AI, training refers to the process where an algorithm learns from data, and this can require massive amounts of computing power. Huawei claims the Ascend 910C delivers up to 256 teraflops of computing power for AI training tasks. For comparison, Nvidia's H100 chip, which has been the leader in this space, offers around 200 teraflops of performance. This means Huawei's chip can handle more data, train models faster, and potentially improve the accuracy of AI applications. Ascend 910C also excels in deep learning, which is one of the most important areas of AI. Deep learning involves the use of large neural networks to model complex patterns in data, which is essential for things like facial recognition, autonomous driving, and advanced robotics. Huawei has optimized the Ascend 910C to work specifically with deep learning frameworks, making it incredibly efficient in handling the massive datasets required to train these models. Another amazing feature of the Ascend 910C is its energy efficiency. As AI models grow more complex and require more computational power, energy consumption has become a serious concern for companies that rely on AI. Huawei claims that the Ascend 910C is up to 50% more energy efficient than other chips in its class, which is a big deal for industries looking to scale their AI capabilities without dramatically increasing their energy costs. The chip achieves this through its 7-nanometer process technology, which allows for more transistors to be packed into the chip, leading to better performance and lower energy consumption. This 7 nanometers architecture is the same cutting-edge technology used by companies like TSMC and Samsung to produce some of the world's most advanced chips. By improving energy efficiency, the Ascend 910C not only reduces operational costs for AI-driven companies, but also addresses growing concerns about the environmental impact of massive data centers that house AI systems. The chip's energy-saving features make it an attractive option for companies and governments looking to scale up AI applications while keeping an eye on sustainability. The hardware of the Ascend 910C is only part of the equation. Huawei has paired the chip with its MindSpore AI framework, a software platform designed to maximize the chip's performance. This AI framework is built to work seamlessly with the Ascend series, providing developers with tools to build, train, and deploy AI models more efficiently. MindSpore is designed to handle both cloud-based and edge-based AI tasks. This means it can support AI applications in large-scale cloud environments, such as those used by tech giants like Google or Microsoft, as well as smaller, more localized applications on edge devices like smartphones and IoT devices. This flexibility is important in today's AI landscape, where companies are looking for solutions that can work across multiple platforms and environments. Moreover, MindSpore is optimized for privacy and security, which is a growing concern in AI as more personal and sensitive data is processed by machines. Huawei claims that their framework can better protect data privacy by keeping sensitive data on edge devices rather than sending it back to centralized servers for processing. The Ascend 910C also supports heterogeneous computing, which means it can work in conjunction with other types of processors like GPUs and CPUs to optimize performance. This allows companies to create hybrid systems that use the best type of processor for each specific task, maximizing efficiency across their operations. Other than this, Huawei's new chip is designed to handle the increasingly important task of AI inference. Inference is the process of using a trained AI model to make predictions or decisions in real time. It is what allows AI systems to recognize faces, drive cars, or generate text like this one on the fly. The Ascend 910C has been optimized to perform inference tasks faster and more accurately than previous chips, making it an excellent choice for real-time AI applications. Now that Huawei has made its move, what is the future of the semiconductor industry? What can we expect now? The future of the semiconductor industry. The future of the semiconductor industry is one of rapid evolution, with major shifts expected in both technology and geopolitics. As the world becomes more digitally connected and reliant on advanced computing, the demand for semiconductors continues to skyrocket. From AI and 5G networks to autonomous vehicles and advanced medical devices, semiconductors are at the heart of nearly every emerging technology. The competition to dominate this space is intensifying, with countries like the US, China, South Korea, and Taiwan leading the charge. Now, what does the future hold for this vital industry? One thing is certain: the demand for semiconductors is not going to slow down anytime soon. According to IDC, the global semiconductor market is projected to reach $1.2 trillion by 2030, driven primarily by advancements in AI, IoT, cloud computing, and 5G technology. This increased demand is putting pressure on manufacturers to produce chips that are more powerful, energy efficient, and capable of handling vast amounts of data. In terms of technology, the future of semiconductors will likely see more innovation in architecture. As traditional silicon-based chips approach their physical limits, companies are exploring new materials like gallium nitride and silicon carbide, which promise higher efficiency and better performance for certain applications. These materials could play a big role in the development of next-generation semiconductors, particularly for high-power applications such as electric vehicles and renewable energy systems. Another major shift in the industry is the growing focus on quantum computing. While still in its infancy, quantum computing could revolutionize industries that require immense computational power, such as cryptography, drug discovery, and artificial intelligence. Companies like IBM, Google, and Intel are already investing heavily in quantum research, and as the technology matures, we will see new types of semiconductors specifically designed to power quantum machines. All in all, in summary, the future of the semiconductor industry is one of incredible potential, but also significant challenges. With the rise of AI, quantum computing, and new materials, the technological frontier is rapidly expanding. However, geopolitical tensions, supply chain disruptions, and fierce competition between global superpowers will continue to shape the industry for years to come. So what do you think? Will China's invention leave the US struggling to keep up? Are we really witnessing the start of a new tech superpower shift? Let us know in the comments below. If you want more updates on amazing technologies, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because we have got a lot more of this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.